Hi everyone, and welcome to week 2 of EDC MOOC. Last week we discussed how e-learning was represented in its early days and how those representations could be seen as either utopian or dystopian and as examples of technological determinism. We watched a number of short films and tried to get a sense of how the representations of the web and of digital culture connect with our understandings of e-learning. We hope that you came away from last week with a sense of just how prevalent these sorts of utopian and dystopian stories are in accounts of e-learning and of digital culture, and also perhaps an idea that sometimes those utopian and dystopian accounts aren't entirely justifiable. It's more complex than that.
This week, we're going to turn our attention to the future and explore one of the hottest topics in online education, the Massive Open Online Course, or MOOC. Just like the e-learning readings from the past, there are some very strong positions being taken about the MOOC phenomenon. Utopian and dystopian stories are definitely shaping our understanding of what is happening now in the sphere of learning technology and what might happen in the future.
This week, we'd like you to consider how your understanding of how education can and should develop is being influenced by current utopian and dystopian accounts of how technology is developing in a digital age. I'm here at the Informatics Forum at the University of Edinburgh, where some of the work of the Scottish sculptor Edoardo Palazzi is on display.
These sculptures from the late 1960s are part of what the Tate has called Palazzi's attempt to realize what, in a science fiction sense, might be imagined as the art of the future, streamlined, gleaming, and machine art. As the forum's description of these works says, they have an ambiguous quality between the organic and the technical form. This ambiguity and attempts to create representations of the future are common in art and culture. And as has been said many times before, but bears repeating, representations of the future are often very revealing about our present-day preoccupations and concerns.
Some of those representations can be seen in the short films this week, which offer visions of what the future of information technology might hold. We don't want you to think of these as predictions, but as an interesting way of thinking about our present-day hopes and fears.
Always-on, ubiquitous communication, embedded directly into our bodies or carried with us at all times, is presented in some films as a profound threat, in others as a thrilling opportunity. Above all, the question seems to be, who is set to benefit from the personal, constant attentions of information technology, and who might lose out?
To help you identify where utopian and dystopian perspectives are being presented, we'd like to suggest that you pay particular attention in this week's films and readings to the use of metaphor. Metaphor is another lens, like determinism, that we can use to analyze utopian and dystopian stories about e-learning and digital cultures. Whenever you see or read a metaphor this week, try to think of an alternative that could have been used and consider what difference it would have made.
So, for example, the visual metaphor of the empty room at the start of the short film Sight is quite evocative. It suggests that real life for this character, whatever that might be, is barren and that all meaning is to be found in the virtual world. Depending on how you interpret the ending, that might include relationships too. What sort of effect does this metaphor produce? What might the filmmakers have done differently if this were a utopian rather than a dystopian film?
See if you can pay attention to the use of metaphor in the readings this week as well, and ask yourself what kind of work they're doing to construct a particular kind of vision of online education. Have a great week, everyone, and see you online.